Hello everyone, good morning. It's Jazz. It's the West Ham Minds channel. It's a slightly delayed full-time whistle match review reaction on yesterday's awful ball draw, which ended West Ham United nil, Brighton nil. And I think that kind of resultant performance was literally only round the corner, wasn't it? We've done good. We're sixth in the league. If you have a look at the table this morning, comfortably sixth, nicely settled in sixth in the European qualification place. We are sixth in the form tables. If you look at the last five results, we've got 4 clean sheets in a row, I believe. We are in the knockouts of Europa, as you know, which starts February, I think it is. We've got a nice FA Cup third round home draw to Bristol City on the weekend, which I'll be going to, which is good. So everything's good. But yeah, again, going back to my original show and my feelings going forward, where I'm gonna be kind of giving David Moyes the benefit of the doubt and allowing him this window, even though a lot of the managers, including our club, are downplaying it already, like we can't do nothing. We can't buy anyone. There's only 2 windows in a season for a club. And I keep saying this. And you look at that performance, it's largely due to the people on the bench, the people within the squad who never play. There's not much there. It's pretty poor. And we've not been able to address that in all the windows David Moyes has had. And that's the area he's got to work on. He's done all the hard work well. You know, largely most of the starting 11 are good. We have 3, 4, 5, 6 players that any other team in the Premier League would love to have in their team. You know who those players are. We've got a good foundation. We're hard to beat. We're well organised. We're extremely fit. Very, very good. Won a trophy, right? In European places and tournaments 3 out of the 4 seasons, right? Are very, very good. The area he needs to improve on, and he's got a job here for 2-3 years, and the idea is, like I said, that he brings in the next new manager, West Ham United, and he moves upstairs. That'll be a wonderful transition for the club, I think. And then in the background, we've got the stable 4 of Moyes, Noble, Tim, and Sullivan, right? That's my feeling, and I think that's a common sense thinking. It's mature thinking. It's fair, right? We could sack him anytime today. I'm not sure who's out there that really won. Potter, not for me. Mourinho got sacked yesterday. He's well past it now. He keeps on trying to rebuild that Chelsea team. It's not happening. Alonso, very, very early in his career, and he'll be only so many steps away from probably ending up with one of the big clubs if he carries on down that route. I don't know. And then obviously, I'm not sure who else is out there. Carrick is still early for him. I know I've spoken about him in shows. So for me, there's not really an obvious candidate out there that's kind of there. I mean, this time last year, obviously, I wanted him out. Poch was available. Emery was available. And 1 or 2 other situations we had. I think the Sporting Lisbon manager, he's quite tasty, quite interesting. But nothing too obvious. And I think it just makes sense to give him that one last chance to perhaps really improve on the way we play and really improve that squad and the bench. And largely yesterday's result, a couple of things was, obviously we were always going to play like that, right? And we've beaten Brighton comprehensively at their ground, where we played like this. But the difference was that Brighton was so overconfident coming into that game. They just attacked us silly, leaving hardly anyone behind. And we picked them up on counter-attacks and smashed them 2-3 goals. Obviously, now teams are getting educated on how we play. And Brighton yesterday were a bit lethargic largely as well, because they were afraid of bombing forward, knowing we might pick them up, even though we didn't quite have the personnel. You know, a lot of those players who did really well in that first game were missing, right? That was probably Antonio's best game as well, isn't it? Even though I have a go at him, that Brighton away game. And yeah, they sat back largely. So The ball draw wasn't all largely down to us. I don't think Brighton had a lot either. I don't think they looked that great either. They're pretty slow. We put a lot of people behind the ball at home, which is David Moyes, you know. Don't want to go into it more than that. But for me, Ben Rama, I don't think he offered enough for me, even though he should have stayed on. So bringing Fornals on was a worse substitution for Moyes. Again, I didn't get that. Fornals doesn't offer anything. Ben Rama was getting there slowly. Still a lot of things wrong with him, but he was getting there slowly. And if you're going to bring Mubama on, then yeah, at least leave Bowen and Ben Rama there for him to create. Ben Johnson, a lot of you people are picking him as being really, really good and all that. I don't see it. I don't see it in Ben Johnson. I shit my brick when Ben Johnson defending. I'm not there with you on him. But again, it's opinions. It's brilliant to hear that. I'd rather see him and Ben Rama out the door and Fornell as soon as possible. Kehrer is obviously very, very close to moving to Monaco. That's why he would have been the natural replacement for Kufal. He wasn't. Kufal's got a bit of an illness. A bit like me, everyone's got it. There's this virus going around, which I think I've got it. And you can even hear it in me. I'm much better than before, but I'm still struggling. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, Kehrer, I think. But the worst thing is, like I said, is when we want to buy a player from Europe, we pay double, triple. They want most of it up front, and yeah, we got no issue. We've got no options on that, right? They hold us, you know. Yeah, there's not much we can do. But when we want to sell those players we've paid 10, 15, 20, 30 million for, they don't want to even pay half the money. They ain't got no cash in Europe. Outside of Premier League, they're skin. So even with Kehrer, it's probably going to be a loan deal, which isn't ideal because he's still on our books. We still might have to supplement his wages. We're not going to get any cash through the door that we need. It's probably going to be a loan. Now, that's a Europe all over. You look at... I just realised last week, I forgot when I did that show, that Felipe Anderson, our 35 million signing, we only got about 3.5 million back for him, right? And I think Haller, we took a bit of a loss on him. Vlasic, they didn't even have 7-8 million for him. And I don't know what we got for him in the end. It wasn't much again. It's just an issue that, again, supporters, when you're pushing the club to buy all these players, just be careful that it's not only the amount you're paying, which is over the top. It's the salary, it's the agent fees. That all is part of financial fair play, and it hits you. You've seen the annual report that came out last week, you're right, and yeah, we've spent quite a lot, and that includes, like I keep saying, it's the wages. Look at Danny Ings' whole package, 17-19 million deal this time last year. No one really thought of it. People probably pressurised Moyes to bring a striker in, and he just picked up Danny Ings, right? Said the right things in front of the camera, never fucking played him. So be careful what you wish for, and don't do all this pressure on Moyes to bring, you know, because otherwise he's probably not going to, because the usual cycle in the window with Moyes has been he buys no one immediately for half the window. Half the window just goes. He doesn't buy anyone, and yeah, we can guess what the reasons are. And then the chairman panics, and then just buy anyone, and then Moyes never plays them. We've seen it. So I'm hoping this time around with Tim putting a lot of pressure on Moyes, and it's going to be very interesting for me to see how they work together. You know, it's going to be easy getting Kehrer out the door, Cornet out the door, one or two others out the door. Let's see who comes in. That's going to be interesting for me. I will be doing a transfer show, a different one, so I don't want to talk too much about a couple of things I was thinking about. I think it's a 0-0 is a probably deserved draw. There's not much to talk about. Very frustratingly, I think Souček should have got that goal, wasn't it? It's literally 4 yards out. You got to put it on target, and that went wide. There wasn't much apart from that. Man of the match, I think, is probably shared between Alvarez and Areola. So I think the way we're setting up, I think Areola, yeah, a lot of saves, and Alvarez sits nicely in front of those back four, and that was that really. Apart from that, there's not really much to say. Yeah, for me, I know a lot of you want him out. I understand, totally understand that. It's a shit show yesterday. For me, I'm going to give him time. I'm going to give him this window. Let's see how the next couple of months, because I don't know what's going to happen. And it's always good to judge at the end of the season. Sitting where we do in the league, I don't think there's any panic to change it and disrupt anything. The players are playing for him. There is a good team spirit. There's no doubt about that, right? So, yeah, my jacket fell on the floor. So for me, for those reasons, I think it's And there's no one out there really screaming that we should get that's available, things like that, right? So let's just keep calm. Let's just get through the shit. I know it's bad. Let's see who we bring in this transfer window. Let's see how the next couple of months go in terms of where we are in the league, how we do in the FA Cup, Europa. Let's see who we get in the draw. There's so much more that's undecided. But at the moment, I think when you weigh it up, we're kind of all right with Moyes still. You know, I know you don't want to hear that, but for me, I think we're just about okay. And that's it really in terms of this game. It's not good, but let's just keep going. Let's get the players back from AFCON, get Antonio back, get a few people out the door. Danny is included, forgot about him. And February the 1st will be a big from me to see where we stand in terms of how does that bench squad look like really, and how have Tim and Moyes work together in this second window together. That's going to be really important, because Tim's going to be responsible largely for the recruitment of this new manager if it happens. So if Tim and Moyes can't work together in this window, that's going to be one of the biggest reasons if Moyes doesn't get his contract renewed, right? And then he's only got himself to blame. Like I said, Moyes wants to stay. The players are kind of okay with it. Fans are 50-50, I get that. But he knows what he needs to do to change. You've got to play more expansive football. He's got to buy a striker, better bench, use it more often, squad, use the young players a bit more, and he's got a job here easily next 2-3 years, right? So that's where I stand with this. I'm just going to kind of push that yesterday's result to one side, considering the December we had with the really good victories we had. Table looks good. Really looking forward to the weekend, really. So I'll catch up with you later on today with a transfer show. So you take care. Have a good morning. God bless.